to you by Sayaka. Cooking with electricity is now so affordable with the Fumba tariff set by the Electricity Regulatory Authority.
A very good evening once again. Welcome to our second edition of News Tonight. Let's start with a look at the top stories. President Yoweri Museveni stops traditional healers and herbalists from treating Ebola patients. Senior 4 UNEB exams to begin this Friday. JAMA, People's Progressive Party, in coalition talks with NRM. While Makerere University marks 100 years of Julius Nyerere. Number one. CBC News Tonight. My name is Michael Jordan Lukomwa, and this is what we have for you tonight. The head of state has warned traditional healers and herbalists against promising people infected with Ebola miraculous healing. The president was updating the nation in a televised address on the recent Ebola outbreak of the Sudan strain that hit the country recently.
President Yoweri Museveni has warned traditional healers and herbalists against handling patients during times of epidemics like the current Ebola outbreak.
While people may be using the traditional healers and the traditional healers may be accepting customers in normal times, I think we should put it in the law that when the government announces an epidemic, then the traditional healers should stop receiving customers in their clinics and wait for the all clear to be announced.
The president was updating the country on the Ebola outbreak in a televised address. The president wants the public to quickly report any suspected Ebola cases to authorities for safe transportation to the health facilities.
This disease is survivable because I was told by the, you know me, I like interrogating each situation. I was told that this disease kills mainly by high temperature. That high temperature, the body is not supposed to operate at high temperatures. So if you have got very high temperature for a long time, then the organs are damaged. That's how it kills, I'm told. So I think what the doctors do when you go to hospital, they control the temperature. Then it kills also by losing body fluids, amazi okugwamu mu mubiri, by vomiting and diarrhea also, maybe sweating also. So when you have those, you have high temperature, you have dehydration, what they call dehydration, losing the fluids, either through vomiting, through diarrhea, through sweating, and they are not being replaced. I hear that that's what damaging is there anything else that damages the virus is also multiply? Let's hear the minister.
Excellency, eventually, because the fluid volume is low, the blood supply to the major organs is impaired, especially the kidneys and the liver, and then you go into hypovolemic shock. But because of low blood supply, the organs also get damaged.
So the blood supply is improved by the fluids.
Yes, Excellency.
So therefore, although the interventions in the hospital do not kill the virus directly, but by stopping the lowering the temperature and by replacing the fluids you lose, it helps the body to remain able to fight. And the body can fight and win.
The Ebola virus disease was first declared in Mubende district on the 20th of September 2022 and has now spread to other districts that include Chegegwa, Kasanda, Kagadi, and Bunyangabo. However, there are districts that are categorized as very high risk.
Category 1, very high risk, are Mubende, Kasanda, Chegegwa, Kagadi, Bunyangabo. Category 2, high risk, not very high risk, but high risk. 20 districts surrounding Mbende plus Kampala and Wakiso. Kampala and Wakiso are included in this category because of population movement, trade, and social services.
As of 12 October 2022, there are 54 total confirmed cases, 19 deaths, and 20 recoveries, including 5 health workers. Joshua Kagoro, Adia Nakuti, UBC News.
President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has hailed and rewarded the best performers of Team Uganda that represented the nation at the World Athletics Championships and the Commonwealth Games. This was at the ceremony held at State House in Entebbe, where he also gave a land title of the house of the late Olympic gold medalist John Akibwa back to the family.
President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has reiterated his government commitment to continue supporting sports excellence, which he described as a culmination of broad-based development and transformation. The president addressed different groups of sportsmen and women under the National Council of Sports who excelled in different sports activities at world and continental stages, whom together with the First Lady and Minister of Education and Sports hosted at a special luncheon at State House in Entebbe. The group of athletes made the country proud in different competitions, including the World Athletics Championships, where Uganda won gold and other medals, the Rugby Sevens World Cup, the Africa cricket team, who excelled at the T20 Africa Nations Cup. According to His Excellency the President, sports is aimed at, among others, building teamwork and stamina, entertaining determination, competing and excelling, and to be well known in the world, which Team Uganda has done very well.
Through this activity of sports, to be able to build your character. So I thank you, you sports people, for taking advantage of the opportunities which have come in Uganda in the last 36 years because of peace, to take advantage of that and come out and use your talent. I congratulate you. I congratulate those who won medals. Congratulations. But I also congratulate those who participated, even if they didn't win medals.
The Fountain of Honor reassured athletes that they will continue to be given a monthly payment of 5 million shillings for gold, 3 million shillings for silver, and 1 million shillings for bronze per month, and also develop sports infrastructure across the country. At the same event, the president also handed over a land title to the family of the late John Akibwa, who won the first gold medal for Uganda in 1972. He also handed over a vehicle to the long-distance runner Victor Kiplagat, who won Uganda her first ever marathon gold at the Commonwealth Games. First Lady and Minister of Education and Sports, Mrs. Janet Kataha Museveni, congratulated Team Uganda for raising the Uganda flag. At different sports events, this year and appreciated the financial support received from the government.
Appreciate the financial support received from government that enabled these teams to participate at both the regional and international levels. Amongst those sponsored by government were 188 sportsmen and women from 17 sports disciplines.
Present at the ceremony were MPs from Sabay region, representatives from Ugandan Netball Federation, the presidents of different sports disciplines, members of the National Council of Sports, executive committee members of Uganda Olympic Committee, among others.
Access to food remains a global basic human right, which in Uganda is constrained by the rise in food prices and the intensity of climate change shocks. This underscores the need for a national plan to address food crisis, as a reason why Ministry of Agriculture is due to submit a supplementary budget before Parliament. The third Deputy Prime Minister, Rukia Nakadama, was speaking during the opening of a high-level dialogue of the World Food Day celebrations at the office of the Prime Minister.
Use better, we may have a better environment, we have better nutrition, and we live a better life without leaving anyone behind.
What started as a prayer from a food rights advocate culminated into a serious conversation. Stakeholders in the food security faction were here to exchange ideas. The state of accessibility to food, as well as nutrition, was top on the agenda.
How effective are we with our food system as a country? Because as many have too much or plenty, others are starving.
Climate change as an imported shock did not miss out in the deliberations. In a country largely dependent on rain-fed agriculture, characterized by prolonged droughts and unpredictable rains, they want to see serious interventions.
We used to know when rain would come. We used to know when rain would stop. But as we talk, on top of having prolonged drought, we are not able to know when rain would come. We cannot predict it.
It is reported that 30% of Karamoja sub-region in northeastern Uganda suffers acute food insecurity. The remaining 70% have varying degrees of food insecurity. This is why the country needs to be prepared, a reason why government is on board.
That in that part of the country, food security is a dream now. And this situation is almost similar in other parts of the eastern Uganda and the northern parts of the country.
The government of the Republic of Uganda, under the wise leadership of His Excellency the President, General Kaguta Museveni, has approved the Agriculture Ministry's plan for responding to the looming food crisis in the country, giving the ministry a green light to submit supplementary budget.
Uganda is endowed with 22% of water out of the total country's landmass. This is why there is need to invest in agricultural mechanization and irrigation to address food crisis-related challenges.
Relevant government officials will implement the response plan, including providing agricultural machinery, seeds, fertilizers, and equipment for irrigation.
You can do agriculture all year long, and irrigation is a must. I'm talking about irrigation, but I will stress efficiency in irrigation.
The status of food-secure households in Uganda has increased by 9.3%. That is from 69% in financial year 2018-2019 to 78.7% in 2020-2021 financial year. whereas this is above the 75.2% target of the third National Development Plan. A number of families are still faced with starvation, which requires interventions. Henry Okrut, UBC.
The Director for Mobilization in the NRM, Rosemary Seninde, has confirmed the party receiving letters from Justice Forum, that is JEMA, and the People's Progressive Party asking for a coalition with the NRM. Seninde, however, requested those who want to join the party to focus on improving the welfare of their people they serve and not to be expectant of goodies from the party. She made the remarks at the NRM Secretariat while receiving Kenneth Etunganane, a former Member of Parliament from Soroti County, and Caxton Eti from UPC Party, who have crossed into the National Resistance Movement.
Resistance Movement Secretariat has received into the NRM party Kenneth Etunganane, a former Member of Parliament for Soroti County, and Caxton Eti from Uganda People's Congress. The NRM Secretary General Richard Todong said the beauty of NRM party is that it does not discriminate and welcomes all to join.
As you all know, we have signed an MOU with the Democratic Party. UPC has expressed interest, and other parties are also in negotiation to see that we work together with them. So all these are good signs that we seem to be providing good leadership that everybody is looking up to. We are also reaching out to NUP and FDC. We are not leaving them out. We are reaching out so that they see the bigger picture than every time quarreling like we are children. Ugandans are looking up upon us as leaders to provide guidance, to provide leadership.
Todong and Rosemary Seninde officially welcomed the members to the NRM party organization and opted for the official welcome to be done from their areas.
And I thank the Director of Mobilization at the party secretariat for coordinating all this. And very soon we shall launch these programs and we move around the country to receive other members who are willing to join the NRM party.
The two were given an NRM shirt, constitution, and the organization's manifesto, among others. The Director NRM Mobilization, Rosemary Seninde, confirmed the organization receiving letters from Justice Forum and People's Progressive Party requesting for a coalition.
And of course the buses door is always open. It receives, it appreciates and welcomes everybody who comes in, as we also don't stop anyone who wants to get out. So if there are some members like people from JEMA, like even FDC, NOP, we have had all those who want to join the NRM. If they want to come and join NRM, we don't stop them, but it is important for us to appreciate their expectations. Because we have seen some members who may say we want to join NRM and their expectation is to be given money. I want to make it clear that money is not there.
She attributed the increasing number of people who want to join the NRM party to the organization's pillars and is a party with visible programs.
My desire is to see socio-economic transformation of the people.
The core values of patriotism, Pan-Africanism, socio-economic transformation and democracy are very, very strong values that I feel I need to belong to, and I can only do that when I'm in the NRM party.
Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
Be Tolerant organization has cautioned the youth to participate in sustainable, peaceful activities for a violent-free society. This was during an event organized by the Always Be Tolerant organization in partnership with the Bank of Baroda at Navisusa Girls Secondary School near Kampala.
Always Be Tolerant organization in partnership with the Bank of Baroda has urged the youth to embrace sustainable peace for a violent-free society. The chairperson, Always Be Tolerant organization, Moses Musana, wants young people to emulate former leaders, mainly Nelson Mandela and Mahatma Gandhi, who resisted violence but eventually achieved peace in their countries. This was at an event held at Navisusa Girls Secondary School aimed at promoting tolerance in the country.
Nelson Mandela, Mahatma Gandhi, Mwalimu Nyerere, Martin Luther King, and Kwame Nkrumah. All these people, though they are dead, but they still they are alive in people's minds because they advocated for peaceful coexistence. That's why we remember them. That's why we are at Nabisunsa Girls School, to promote these values into the younger ones for a future generation which is peaceful.
The deputy head teacher, Nabisusa Girls Secondary School, Hachimera, says keynote addresses help build capacity among the youths.
Girls have been taken through to adopt the culture of saving, and how saving is very important, and whatever amount of money that one gets can at least save something. So I hope, because there is a way learners take longer to start the culture of saving, but now that it has come so early to our younger girls, we know it is going to benefit them a lot, and us, the teachers, the staff, and so on.
The managing director, Bank of Baroda, Raj Kumar Mena, advised teachers and students of Nabisusa Girls Secondary School to appreciate financial discipline in promoting prosperity among the citizenry.
Whatsoever money you saved in your pocket, we take it in a form of deposits. Say, you have some money in your pocket.
A former Makerere University professor, Dr. Said Abid, advised Nabisusa students to draw lessons from the Indian leader Mahatma Gandhi, who changed society through peaceful and non-combative modes.
So he was always fighting for the downtrodden. He was always trying to reform the society.
A number of students at Nabisusa Girls Secondary School were appreciative of the training and advised for more of the same.
I've learned to save. I've learned to manage my money, to show people that women can do far more than cooking, than giving birth to kids, far more than cleaning the house and keeping the home. We are much better than that.
Justin Nakami, Tanaba Kenneth for UBC News.
Domestic Violence Act Coalition has condemned the intended move by Lira Market Vendors Association to block women from taking seats in the front or cabins of passenger vehicles, citing out of increasing acts of domestic violence and human rights violations. The DVA, in the same vein, called for redress in the manner of arrest of female suspects, especially during moments when they are caught on the wrong side of the door.
By men's bodies, but we never ever sexually harass them.
In January 2022, authorities in Lira passed a bylaw banning women from sitting in the driver's cabin in the trucks. The decision was arrived at following an accident where 9 lives were lost and 19 others injured in Agali sub-county, Lira district in January.
We have continuously even seen women who are dressed on gomasis, but still they are perpetrators of sexual violence who have attacked them.
The truck driver carrying vendors from the market was allegedly distracted by a female passenger who was seated in the driver's cabin. Lira market authorities, however, are yet to implement this bylaw intended for the whole region as a mitigation of road accidents caused by distraction of drivers by female passengers.
Whenever implementation of such an unwritten rule in society comes on board, the minority are the ones, in most cases, the law catches up with. And in most cases, those are the women and girls.
According to the Domestic Violence Act Coalition, such acts are not only discriminatory, but also giving ground to historical acts of violation of women's rights.
Women are now being pushed back. We are being pushed back to where we came from.
Under the Convention on Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, gender-based violence is recognized as a form of violence that nullifies women's enjoyment of human rights and fundamental freedoms. It's upon this background that they call for interventions in all unfriendly laws that discriminate, violate, or spark acts of inequality and violence against women and girls. In the same vein, DVA has condemned the dehumanizing manner of arrests of suspected female thieves who were recently arrested along the northern bypass. The suspects, that included both women and men, are alleged to be operating around dark spots at the northern bypass to rob and kill people.
We have witnessed increasing prevalence and incidences of violence against women and girls in our motherland, Uganda.
I would like to tell you that we condemn the act of stealing from other people. But also, as a DVA coalition, would like to let you know that even as you're holding these perpetrators of theft accountable, how are you upholding their dignity? Because if we are all aware, everyone is not a saint.
It should be noted, however, that accidents are not only caused due to distraction of drivers by female passengers, but also other issues like bad roads, overloading, overspeeding and distraction by signages on some roads. Susan Naonga reporting for ABC TV.
The Norwegian Refugee Council has organized a policy dialogue on unpacking employment laws and procedures for refugees in Uganda. The dialogue has brought together different stakeholders from government agencies and related refugee settlements to forge a way forward on the employment rights, limitations and opportunities of refugees in Uganda.
Uganda hosts over 1.5 million refugees and asylum seekers, mainly from South Sudan, Democratic Republic of Congo and Burundi. Over 80% of the refugees are hosted in 13 districts in the north, southwestern region and in Kampala, where they coexist with communities that host them. With prospects for dignity and self-reliance, the Norwegian Refugee Council organized a policy dialogue on unpacking employment laws and procedures for refugees in Uganda.
And the idea is to make sure that we understand better what are the requirements, and then we can disseminate that together with the Employment and Livelihood Refugee Response Plan, which of course was launched earlier this year. But it's also a time which is very difficult with high inflation, but also we are looking at making sure that refugees and also other urban Ugandans are able to sustain themselves better during these difficult times.
Sensitization of both refugees and also the government service providers. The refugees need to understand that the documents that they have for their identification will not earn them shortcuts, but also government, we need to understand that the documentations that they have been obtained in a certain context.
Job searches for young refugees, those that are in the cities, the employment creation, especially by the private sector. We're looking at skilling as one of the key components that should be promoted. And in this case, we're looking at vocational training. We know that NRC and other partners are already providing skilling, but also looking at it should be provided with certification.
The stakeholders meeting aims at leveraging the forum for information, sharing on barriers faced by displaced persons in pursuit of accessing registration of business and acquisition of necessary documents.
We are asking if things could be easy for us also to be able to get employment.
There's a challenge in the documentations. The documents they asked from us to produce, especially the IDs. We realized that there are some departments that doesn't recognize the refugee ID. They will need an additional document to back it up. But as a refugee, you only have the refugee ID card.
Norwegian Refugee Council is an international humanitarian and non-government organization that protects the rights of people affected by displacement and has operations in Kampala, southwestern Uganda and West Nile. Zahara Abigawa, UBC News.
So, I'm here to announce that the MTN Kampala Marathon is back. And this year, we are running for babies. To be clear, I am not talking about a baby. No. And neither am I talking about to be baby. I am talking about these small dollars.
Run for babies in the MTN Kampala Marathon on Sunday, 20th November 2022. Dial star 165 star 77 hash or use the Momo app to register.
Effects of climate change are glaring. We have floods, landslides, drought, food insecurity. His Excellency the President has been very passionate about this, and he has explained the effect of destroying our natural resources, especially the wetlands and cutting the forests. As Cabinet, as government, we have approved a 10 years restoration program. We are going to provide alternative sources of livelihood, and the call is that people should leave the wetlands. And we have started from today evicting people from Lubiji wetlands, and we are going to roll out the whole country. Our prayer is that those who have not yet been reached, please live peacefully. We are going to provide alternative source of livelihood as a government. Those who are still engaged in manufacturing and selling the plastic, especially the illegal non-buveras, we are going to close onto them. They are also a menace to our country. We look forward very soon having sodas back in the breakable bottles rather than the plastics which are being thrown all over to litter. I want to call upon Ugandans, let's conserve and let's use sustainably our natural resources. I thank you.
This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Water and Environment, Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, Uganda National Meteorological Authority, with support from Government of Uganda, Green Climate Fund, and the United Nations Development Program.
Meet Professor Petero. He knows something every hustler in UG is gonna love.
Oh, see. You say I was just trying to get the documents to register for Airtel Money.
You don't need the documents. You just say for register.
What's going on here?
He sells things from the shop, and behind my back, he gets the money and gives it to his girlfriends.
But just get Airtel Money Pay so that all money comes direct to your business wallet, and only you, the owner, have access to it.
Just dial star 185 star 10 star 10 hash, and now you are on. No waiting. Huh? This insanity is sweet. Give them also.
I only take Airtel Money Pay. It's easy and secure.
Yes, become a safer and more efficient cash-free business today. Easy.
No mixing your business money with your Kameza money. No, that's efficient.
Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Do you need data collection services, data analysis and reporting, monitoring and evaluation systems? Then contact Molt Technologies, a professional research firm that has provided many organizations with timely research solutions for over 15 years. For more information, visit www.mt.co.ug or call us on 0704 913 399 or 0782 602 963. Visit our office in Kampala at Sayuni Complex in Tinda. Mood Technologies, your professional research firm.
Get connected today with the My Airtel 4G smartphone, the most affordable smartphone in Uganda. You get to enjoy free 1 GB for 1 whole year. My Airtel 4G smartphone, your best value for money. Visit the nearest Airtel outlet today and get one at only 250,000 Uganda shillings. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Leaders who care create a good learning environment.
Because a good school equals a better life.
Raising voices.
Government and other stakeholders have been appealed to allocate more funds to mental health services since cases are rising in the country. This was communicated in the commemoration of the World Mental Health Day at Bukoto in Kampala.
The outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic said to have increased domestic violence, torture, which allegedly led to mental health challenges. According to Natasha Kasana, a victim says several people are suffering from mental disorders, yet few appear for treatment. This is likely due to an awareness about mental health services.
Battling with depression at the age of 11. I'm a 7-time suicide survivor. When I was in my primary 6, I started hallucinating. Of course it's when I'm grown now that I realized it was hallucinating. My peers called it ghosts.
Go to the government and tell them that, guys, we actually need to allocate more money for mental health because this is something big. It's not something small. The numbers keep growing every day. The article said 14 million Ugandans, but however, those are the only ones that we know of. Those are the ones who have actually come up to speak. In schools, bullying is actually one of the main reasons why children are depressed or stressed. You find someone doesn't want to go to school anymore. Why? Because someone called them a name.
The founder of Awesome Minds Speak says high cost for mental health services, which are hard to afford, has kept more people with such disorders.
Of mental health ranging from 50,000 to 300 for only 90 minutes. And you're talking to a young person who's going to need, like, let's say 2 sessions a week or 4 sessions, and they have to pay this amount of money. This becomes a very big challenge to us, much as we are doing the work, but these are also challenges. But the luckiest thing that we have got is that now we have got the conversations going and we have people jumping on board to support mental health. We have people like the Aga Khan and the EU that are actually taking interest in mental health to support.
There are still more challenges to reach such services in remote areas.
The young have always been left out. They have nobody to run to. They even don't know that they should run to someone in case they have a problem. They have a mental health problem.
Communicating to the wrong audience. The real people who are actually struggling with the mental health are the downer people. The other issue is people fear to come out because the fear of being judged.
The commemoration was held under a theme, mental health and well-being for all, a global priority.
Recommended percentage which governments should invest is at least 5% of their health budgets. That is for countries like Uganda, which are categorized as low-income countries.
Suzanne Nabugude, Jamil Sekaja compiled this report for UBC.
The system of Uganda not supporting creatives that much.
Teachers and educational stakeholders have converged at the National Teachers College in Moni, Arua district to commemorate the International Teachers Day with a call on government to address the challenges of capitation grants to national teachers' colleges and higher institutions of learning.
Where you go, the teachers are critical agent of change that must be supported to ensure.
The Minister of State for Primary Education, Dr. Joyce Mori-Kukaduchu, says government is addressing the issue of universal primary and universal secondary education capitation grants boost. This was during International Teachers' Day celebrations that attracted members from the 5 National Teachers College of Kabale, Moni, Unyama, Kaliro and Mubende has been marked at NTC Moni.
And we are talking about building the capacity of humanity. For us to move to another step, to move to modernity, to move to middle income status, we need the teachers.
Kaduchu says the system of instruction has changed and therefore teachers should now adopt the 21st century skills to transform the learners into critical thinkers.
Where teachers are to transform the learners to be creative people, to be innovative people, to be assertive people, to be critical thinkers.
The principal, NTC Moni, Daisy Aliwaru, expressed worry over delay to raise capitation grant to the institutions, saying that 1,800 is now too small to accommodate 3 meals a day for the students.
Uganda, through the Ministry of Education and Sports, to increase the capitation grant from 1,800 to at least 5,000 to be on a safer side.
The Belgian ambassador to Uganda, Rudy Verstraeten, says through their international development arm, Annabelle, and the European Union member states, they have approved a grant of 620 billion Uganda shillings under the Global Partnership for Education to support education infrastructures in Uganda. Rudy, however, says government of Uganda must fulfill her commitment for counterpart funding and commitment to the improvement of the educational budget.
The GPE grant is, however, it's conditional. It is approved in principle, but a significant part will only be made available if the government really increases its own budgetary efforts. Uganda needs to step up its own efforts and must much better fund running costs such as teachers' salaries and capitation grants.
A teacher is a teacher no matter what he teaches. Therefore, a concerted effort to transform the educational system starts with the teacher. Mutonyi Hilda and Douglas Setumba, UBC.
The director in the Directorate of Industrial Training at the Ministry of Education and Sports, Dr. Patrick Byakatonda, has tasked parents to interest their children into vocational training to uplift their communities.
Mungu tamba ininde Afrika Mashariki.
The Directorate of Industrial Training, Dr. Patrick Byakatonda, has reiterated the need for Ugandans, especially the youth, to utilize their available vocational skills to close employable gaps. Dr. Byakatonda says government is committed towards promoting skills development.
For the parents, I call upon you, encourage your students take vocational subjects, but also embrace them, because we have seen students cannot lack school fees. They can easily even get their school fees when they are still studying.
This was at a graduation function for Rugando College, where 64 students and 36 community members of Rampara district graduated with the Directorate of Industrial Training modular certificates in pottery, keeping, bakery, knitting, beekeeping, among others.
So we are here to encourage them, but also they have graduated. And this graduation, they do a lot of things.
The principal, Rugando College, Abraham Sabiti, expressed gratitude towards various educational stakeholders, parents and staff for their commitment towards promoting vocational training in the school.
It's a great thing that we have integrated this one. We have a dual curriculum of skilling Uganda students, and they benefit from their minds, change of the mind, academically, they are excelling, and we are really excited about this one.
The woman member of Parliament, Rampara District, Mole Asimwe, says many youth will acquire employable skills to earn a living, support themselves and become quality citizens in Uganda.
Having knowledge in their heads, but they cannot do anything for themselves, and who are looking out for jobs. But with skills, we are creating a generation of people who can make jobs for themselves. We actually got testimonies from several students who have been able to make money through those skills and to pay for their own school fees.
Graduates were overjoyed upon graduation and acquisition of lifelong skills.
I thank the school and the government at large for having this program brought and introduced in our school in the world, actually national.
I'm going to get capital, buy some chicks, start my project.
Sudat Kaye, Henry Moganga, UBC News.
In West Nile are calling on people in the sub-region to be vigilant of the Sudan Ebola outbreak, as the sub-region is vulnerable due to its location in borders with South Sudan and Democratic Republic of Congo.
West Nile borders South Sudan and the Democratic Republic of Congo, a reason people need to be vigilant due to several porous routes. The resident district commissioners of Adjumani, Aro and Yumbe district chairman disclosed how prepared that districts are in detecting signs of Ebola.
Being at the border of South Sudan and also being on a trunk where people move from one place to another, Adjumani as a district has already formed this rejuvenated the Corona Task Force team and turn it now to Ebola Task Force team.
We were all worried because we were at the border point. Congo is near, Sudan is here. So we formed a committee, actual task force committee for Ebola.
We have activated the district task force that was there, and their spot messages, because Ministry of Health has guided us on what has to be done and how it has to be done.
According to RDC of Adjumani Taban data, Adjumani registered 2 suspected cases last month, with one of them being from Nimule, but the 2 later tested negative.
Well, there was one case that was brought into the hospital, but the results came negative. And currently we have also had a situation in Nimule of the same that has happened, so it has made us to be prepared, waiting for any eventuality.
The leaders are now sensitizing people to be vigilant by reporting any suspected illness in the communities to the authorities.
It's our prayer that also people listen to what is communicated by the leaders and respect it, because we need their lives, we need them.
We have also informed on radio our LC1 chairpersons and all leaders and villagers to be vigilant enough to report any case of any sickness that they feel they have not understood.
Adjumani RDC warned people against purchase of bushmeat, as some porous routes from South Sudan are used to smuggle them into West Nile.
There are people who like eating bushmeat, and we have a corridor that comes from South Sudan. There are people who carry bushmeat. I understand they sometimes sneak in and sell. So people should be very careful, because it is from this bushmeat that we can also get this disease.
The first Ebola case was detected on 20th of last month in Mubende district, and as of 12th October, Uganda has registered 19 deaths.
Advisor on Manifesto and Economic Implementation, Professor Ephraim Kamuntu, has advised Ugandans to embrace and utilize the Parish development model.
It promises Ugandans to transform, and transformation is a very fundamental word. Transform is like you change, yeah? You transform, you change. Like water or ice would be melted into water, but it is the same, but it has transformed. Transformation means changing. So it is to transform the economy from peasant and poor to modern and prosperous country. That transformation in economic sense means if you have been in the peasant traditional, stagnant economic situation, you now must move into the dynamic, very forceful, and the quality of life must change. The parish development model provide a paradigm shift in our planning and in our budgeting. This is the fundamental point. In the parish development model, we have 10,594 parishes. What really it means, instead of Ministry of Finance in Kampala, under the Ministry of Finance planning for all of us, this time 10,594 parishes will be sitting across the country. Will sit, each one of them, plan and budget for its own development. This has never happened before. I want Ugandans to appreciate it has never happened that you have parishes, 10,594 units across the country, each one of them sitting.
Manufacturers and industrialists have asked government to revise the directive on electricity supply so that they are able to sustain their production and avoid unnecessary losses.
Large-scale manufacturers and industrialists have urged the government to revise its promise on electric supply parity cost to the large manufacturing industries in order to limit the production cost involving the manufacturing process.
For recycling the plastic. So, electricity rate is very high. Mostly we are helping the government and we are helping the community to recycle the plastic. So we don't need to import the virgin material. So we can use that same material. We recycle the material and we can use and we do the value added. We make the value added product.
Jitendra Solahia, who owns a company dealing in a wide range of plastic products, says the cost of electricity unit is not considered despite government promise. The company employs over 3,000 workers benefiting directly and indirectly through the collection of plastic material, which helps in environmental conservation.
So we are helping the environment, we are saving environment, cleaning Kampala, actually cleaning Uganda. So we are helping on both way to the government, cleaning and saving the environment.
Richard Bigabwa and Sechango Nassa, who are both the beneficiaries of the plastic products, explain the benefits
and the protocol. And in addition, because we know these wastes are so harmful, the company provides part of their breakfast, milk. It's one of the key agenda the company has put in place to ensure that their safety is well maintained and equipped.
I used to move with my truck and collect different areas. A day I can collect like 2 tons.
An entrepreneur in plastic collection, Senjo Matthew, who leads a group of 5 boys, says the business is competitive. Robert Katamba, UBC News.
So, I'm here to announce that the MTN Kampala Marathon is back. And this year, we are running for babies. To be clear, I am not talking about a baby. No. And neither am I talking about to be baby. I am talking about these small dollars.
Run for babies in the MTN Kampala Marathon on Sunday, 20th November 2022. Dial *165 *77# or use the Momo app to register.
Stay connected on the largest 4G network in Uganda using the Airtel 4G Pocket MiFi at only 75,000 Uganda shillings. It comes with 15 GBs free, valid for a month. You can connect up to 10 of your friends and family at a go. Visit the nearest Airtel shop to get one today or call 0800 333 330 for free delivery within Kampala. Dial *175 *9# to activate free 15 GBs. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Ni MTN Kabode Super as you pay mpola for this smartphone. Make calls, update your WhatsApp status, watch YouTube, and Google anything under the sun with 2 GB worth of data every month for 7 months. Simply make a small deposit of 99k and pay the balance mpola. You can pay in daily, weekly, or even monthly installments while you enjoy your new phone. So what are you doing today? Visit any MTN shop near you and get the MTN Kabode Super easy.
QBC Business News tonight. Financial technologies have been identified with stronger linkage effect, much higher than traditional financial industry. Stakeholders in the industry are urged to develop comprehensive feasibility study to attract investors.
The development of financial technologies in this fourth industrial revolution is demand and supply driven. The industry possesses a linkage effect in industry analysis by attracting production inducement. The 2022 FITSPA Fintech Conference centered on investment and partnerships on how to thrive in Uganda fintech ecosystem and beyond.
For local investors, even not just individuals, but the institutional investors to get an awareness of what opportunities are available within the fintech, understand the industry so that they understand that there are opportunities to invest. Yes, their risks are there as with any investment, but there are also opportunities for great returns is also there. So
the industry has linkage effect much higher than traditional financial industry. It is effective for intermediate and final goods across almost all industries. This facilitates overall national economic performance.
We are creating what we call an SME portal, which will allow us to plot all our domestic investors along the supply and demand value chains countrywide. In this way, we shall be able to improve their access to various government initiatives, provide backward and forward linkages, and de-risk them for better access to finance and financing options. I would like to encourage fintech industry to take advantage.
Funding is critical in this industry by emphasizing innovations for inclusive and sustainable economic growth. In this sector, at least 57% of financial technologies are self-bankrolled, which undermines resilience.
As a key enabler in business, this is not sustainable. We would like to diversify and improve the source of funding for fintechs operating in Uganda.
To attract local funding and foreign investment, players in fintech industry are urged to strategize bankable comprehensive feasibility study.
Let's ensure that all the deals that are there, all the bankable projects here in the FISPA community are within UI. We work with UIA to have them.
The European Union is partnering with the local horticulture farms in a bid to boost quality of farm produce and ensure access to the European Union market.
National ecosystem.
Lack of proper cold chain facilities and limited direct cargo flights to the European Union has been cited among factors hindering the growth of Uganda's horticultural sector.
So the EU made it audits in 2016 and 2019, and they found that unless we change the way we do things, they will not allow our crops to go to the EU. So they advised us to change the way we do things, because previously in phytosanitary, you have to declare what you do on the farm before you export. We used to declare that we are growing the crop in a pest-free area, which was not the case.
Sanitary and phytosanitary challenges continue to affect the sustainable development and marketing of the country's products. It therefore calls for concerted efforts geared at addressing the existing challenges in the value chain.
The program that we are currently here implementing in Uganda is called the Fit for Market SPS, which is a program that is funded by the European Union. It was a program that started in 2018 and it will finish in 2023, so in 1 year. But today we will also have the opportunity to launch the continuation of that program, which is called the Fit for Market Plus.
These crucial issues facing the sector, among others, were raised at the European Union and the Minister of Agriculture engagement in Kampala. In attendance were representatives from various horticulture companies and sector players from across the country.
The freight, the capacity for cargo is limited. We are competing with countries, Kenya, Tanzania, they have their own cargo planes. The whole plane is cargo. So dedicated, then you get bulk volumes, then the cost goes down. If, on the other hand, at the moment, if we are exporting to Europe, then we go through Kenya Airways, Nairobi, Amsterdam. Each of those, Addis, each of those stops costs time and money, increases the freight charges. And we are competing with Ethiopia, we are competing with Rwanda, we are competing with Kenya. So our produce is like a second-class citizen, if I may use that term.
Horticulture is among the top 4 export revenue earners for Uganda, with an annual growth rate of 13% over the last 10 years. The sector is dominated by small and medium enterprises. Dennis Igoa for UBC Business.
Advancements in data and technology combined with the disruption of a global pandemic have radically reorganized the world of marketing and communications.
Around the different media has meant that the industry has gotten into a midlife crisis, which is characterized by a lot of impulsive decision making, behavior change, and trying to adapt to the latest trends and fads. And how that is affecting marketing, as I said, is now we're focusing too much on tactics, immediate tactics, short-term tactics, rather than looking at the long-term brand building. And as we know, like only 5% of a brand's total volume comes from short-term tactics. So that is eventually going to mean that the marketing will be less effective. So we have to start balancing and start, again, going back to the fundamentals of building brands for the long term. And that is what we're going to keep on building brands and getting more brands into revenue, or even if it's a behavior change campaign, to get it done for the long term.
One of the findings from the book is the rise of the micropreneur role in with regard to marketing. So we've identified gig workers, or what we call hustlers here. We've identified people called play laborers. We have looked at content creators, and all these are people that will be employed by marketers or in the marketing field, or will be engaged in the marketing ecosystem. So we have deployed platforms that can actually help us pick signals from these different micropreneurs and see how we can infuse them in our marketing ecosystems.
The consumer is changing much faster than organizations are changing in terms of how they relate to the consumer, how they talk to them, and how they're doing their marketing. So for example, things like video on demand has changed the way people want to view or consume video content, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on traditional TV, or it's going to be on streaming video. So that has all changed. But the marketing has not really changed. So these are things that we need to address and get people to be aware of, so that better able to serve the needs of the consumer. When they are watching video content or consuming video content, they don't want to be constantly interrupted by ads. You know, like something like that little 5-second on YouTube to skip has changed people's perception. If you don't like an ad, you can skip it. On TV, you can't. How is it going to change that? How are you going to be able to ensure that we are going to get people's attention with all this advertising that we are putting out there to make it more effective. So what we are looking at is getting us as an industry to understand what we are not doing right and to be able to correct it. And that is why the content of this is called Shift and is part of the book that we are launching today.
We look at media from a video, audio, display, and experiential perspective, and that's how we do our planning. And it's very important for marketers to look at that as their worldview, as they're engaging their consumers as well.
Sports Club Villa Vice President in charge of mobilization and funds affairs, Ben Emmanuel Misaga, has allayed fears of the funds about crowd trouble ahead of arguably Uganda's most anticipated fixture between Sports Club Villa and Express FC.
We want to prove to the world that we have come to occupy our stadium. Express is just a visitor. There is no battle. We are coming to win because Express already is scared of coming here because they have lost the ownership of the stadium. So basically we want our people to come and have a feel of the new stadium. The issue of security, we have deployed as per what we are supposed to deploy. There is no security hiccups. We are sure that everyone is going to enjoy the game in a secure way.
Last season is quite different from this one in that the last season Villa he had many players. Okay, there were some age differences, but as for now, at least we know we are all young and we are all building our talents and we are all building our future. So there is no one to depend on. You have to carry yourself and perform to your level best.
That brings us to the end of all we had for you tonight. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Michael Jordan Lukomwa with Muhammad Mugalu and the whole team. We wish you the best of the night. Let's leave you with Kabasita here, our colleague who has the weather forecast report.
Samba from Ugandan National Meteorological Authority. Thanks for tuning in to UBC. Sunny conditions prevailed in most parts of the country this morning, apart from the highlands of Lake Victoria that had isolated showers. But then later in the afternoon, central part of the country, areas around Lake Victoria, some few areas around Mount Elgon, and western part of the country, especially areas around Lake Albert, had thunder showers. But other parts of the country had sunny conditions. Looking at the satellite image of Uganda, we are seeing the rain belt is at the extreme west of the country, leaving other parts of the country to have sunny intervals, though they are benefiting from the local effect to the surrounding. Tomorrow we're expecting to start the day with sunny intervals in most parts of the country. Central part of the country, around Lake Victoria, like in Kampala, we're expecting isolated showers. Eastern part of the country, we're expecting sunny intervals. Western, we are still expecting sunny intervals. And also in the northern sector, we are still expecting sunny intervals, especially in the morning hours. Later in the afternoon, we are expecting showers around central part of the country. Also in Kampala, with temperatures rising to 27 degrees Celsius. When you go to the eastern sector, we're expecting sunny intervals with temperatures rising to 29 degrees Celsius in Jinja with isolated showers. When we go to the western sector, we're expecting isolated showers, especially in Masindi, areas around Kasese, but other parts of the country, for example, Kabale, other parts of the western sector, we're expecting sunny intervals, for example, in Kabale, with temperatures rising to 25 degrees Celsius. If we go to the northern sector, we're expecting sunny intervals in most parts of the northern sector, with temperatures rising to 32 degrees Celsius. But then in the central north, for example, in Gulu, we are expecting isolated showers, and also Arua, we are expecting isolated showers with temperatures rising to 29 degrees Celsius. Going to London, we're expecting rains with temperatures rising to 16 degrees Celsius. And then Dubai, we're expecting mist with temperatures rising to 36 degrees Celsius. Nairobi and Cairo, we're expecting sunny conditions. That's what we had in our store. Continue tuning into UBC. Have a blessed evening.